What sort of little boy was Joel? Can you tell us what he was like?
Yeah, he was a very lovely, happy little fellow, very friendly. Anyone that met him loved him, and he loved his big sister. He loved the water, but he didn't know how to swim. He hadn't learned how to swim. Joel was with his sister and his father around the dam on the family property. His father was drilling some holes, post holes, and had the generator going, so didn't hear the call when Kate, Joel's sister, called out to him that she couldn't see him anymore. And he drowned.
How old was Joel and how old was Kate?
She was 2 weeks off being 5, and he hadn't long turned 3.
Were they good mates?
Yeah, very good mates.
How has it affected Kate?
Well, she's always missed him. She still misses him. She's nearly 24 and he would have been 22 last month. I think she went through a stage of feeling like she was to blame and she should have saved him. But we got her some counselling quite early on in primary school, and she could draw some pictures and she wrote some poems, and I think that helped her. And she carries on as you have to. Kate, as a child, said, "Mummy's in 3 places. He's in the ground, he's in my heart, and he's in the sky." Which was, the things that she could say, come out with when she was little were just amazing. But that harshness of never having them to hold again is just horrendous. It's just not something you want to ever have to do.
How do you cope with things like this, truly, Hilary? How can you...
Well, it's pretty much you sink or you swim. And the cliches, which you don't want to hear for a long time after, especially life goes on, is so true. But Kate kept me going because she needed to eat, she needed to be loved, she didn't want to see me cry all the time. And I couldn't let us go down. I couldn't have Joel die and have us die too. I felt that we had to keep going for him, otherwise that wasn't fair on him either.
Do you think about what he might have been and what he could have done? And
I think that's exactly what happened on his last birthday, especially the 21st and the 22nd. Any lad that age I look at and I just think, Joel might have been his mate, or Joel would have been cuter than him, or would he have been a surfer, or would he have played football, or would he have been a ballet dancer, or, like all that sort of thing, yeah. I often do that, and that makes me angry sometimes. That's when you it's not fair, but you can't do anything about it.
What could you say to parents out there who are on rural properties or who go visiting people who've got dams? What?
Bottom line is, don't take your eyes off them.
So it gets back to supervision, really.
Vigilant supervision. I think the biggest thing is how quickly it can happen, and how so often you hear that there's a bunch of people around and someone else thought someone else was watching the child. Be a bit more organised in talking to each other about who's watching the kids. Have one person for an hour or half an hour to watch the kids, and then they could stop and share it round. And don't leave kids under 16 in charge of children, because that's not fair on other kids. I think people just have to have that moment longer of thinking about what they do before they do it when they're around little people. Because answering phones or answering a knock on the door, you hear people say that, I was just answering the phone, or I was just not answering. Don't do it. Think about where the kids are before you answer that phone or before you open that door.
I would hate to see anyone go through the anguish that you've gone through and have the memories that you've got of Joel as a little baby, a toddler, and then a happy 3-year-old and then gone. So
it's very final. It's horribly final, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's the horror of it. The physical horror of it. You cannot hold them any longer, because it's a very, very hard way to learn a lesson. and you certainly wouldn't wish it on anybody.